celebrating 30 years of great music.
Good evening. In the news tonight, 8th District Indiana U.S. Representative John Hosteller makes it official. He will seek a 7th term in office. And U.S. and Iraqi forces have rescued 3 Christian peace activists held hostage since last November.
In sports, former Cincinnati coach Bob Huggins has a new job, and a former Indy 500 winner is returning to the Brickyard after recovering from life-threatening injuries.
Newscenter 22 is next. 8th District Congressman John Hosteller was in Vincennes today to announce that he intends to seek a 7th term in the U.S. House of Representatives. Speaking on the steps of the Knox County Courthouse, Hosteller said he has unfinished business in Washington. Hosteller says the Public Expression of Religion Act, a bill which he authored, will finally have a hearing before a House committee this year. He says local governments would no longer be obligated to pay legal fees to organizations like the ACLU, who may bring suit against them for displaying the 10 Commandments and other religious symbols.
And in some of these cases that have gone all the way to the Supreme Court, those lawyer fees can be upwards of $500,000. So what happens, as it was the case in Los Angeles County, when the ACLU said that they were going to sue them to remove a tiny cross from their county seal, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors just removed the seal. Never went to court, never fired a shot, you might say, in this battle to retain a long-standing symbol of their county.
Hosteller says he also wants to pursue the elimination of the inheritance tax and make other changes to the tax that puts more money back in the pockets of Americans. Hosteller, a Republican, faces a challenge from Democrat Brad Ellsworth in the fall election. Indiana officials are planning for the possibility of a flu epidemic. A day-long seminar was held today at Purdue to help emergency responders, doctors, nurses, and others who would be on outbreaks front lines. Indiana Department of Homeland Security Director Eric Dietz says it's not if, but when the next global flu pandemic arrives. If the bird flu leads to a pandemic, state officials estimate nearly 6,000 Hoosiers would die if the virus spreads to 35% of the population. The Vincennes University Board of Trustees voted Wednesday to sign a petition on behalf of the university supporting the Vincennes School Corporation's $57 million building plan. The school corporation wants to build a new middle school, 2 new elementary schools, and relocate Inman Field to Lincoln High School. There's about 19 days left in a 30-day petition campaign, both for and against the project. Opponents say the building plan is too expensive. Supporters say the schools to be replaced are old, too costly to maintain, and don't meet today's educational needs. The Vincennes University Board of Trustees approved a 5.9% increase in room and board rates Wednesday. University officials say part of the increase will provide funding for either a new Vincennes campus housing facility or major renovation of existing residence halls. VU hopes to attract an additional 1,000 students to the main campus by the 2008-2009 school year. 2% of the increase will be used to fund new construction and/or improvements, while the remainder of the increase will be used to pay increased operating costs, including utilities, food service, and building maintenance. VU's room and board rates include room rent, meals, all utilities, cable TV, internet service, and residence life programming. Spring semester enrollment at Vincennes University is up compared to last year. Beth Schneif, Senior Director of External Relations, says VU's system-wide enrollment is 8,351. That's up 263 students compared to last year. The Vincennes campus is up 89 students, and the Jasper campus and Indianapolis Aviation Technology Center are up 10 and 14 students respectively. Schneif also reported that accepted applications are up 71 students for the fall 2006 semester on the Vincennes campus. She cited continued efforts to implement the enrollment management plan as a major factor in the increases. Governor Daniels' Education and Employment Senior Advisor says Vincennes University has an enormous opportunity to prepare the Indiana workforce to compete in the global economy. Speaking to the VU Board of Trustees Wednesday, David Shane discussed the importance of VU's partnerships with K-12 education, business and industry, and statewide communities seeking economic development. Citing stats that indicate about 1/3 of Indiana's workforce lacks the skills to be competitive in a global economy, Shane said that VU is well positioned to seek out matches between what industry needs and what communities need to sustain the quality of life they seek.
The need is growing by leaps and bounds for people who are trained and targeted towards specific occupational needs. And the closer that VU or any other institution works with industry, the better you can make that match.
Shane says Hoosiers who are not adequately educated will find it difficult to succeed in today's knowledge economy. The Vincennes University Foundation has hired Bumper Hostetler as the new foundation's president. Hostetler comes to the foundation from the Vincennes YMCA, where he has served as CEO since January 1997. Prior to that, he was the leader of the YMCAs in both Peru and North Webster, Indiana. Hostetler holds a law degree from the Valparaiso University School of Law, a master's degree in sports administration from Ohio University, and a bachelor's degree in history from Wabash College. Hostetler replaces Donna Beard, who resigned earlier this year. He will start his new job in April. A Vincennes man will spend time in prison for dealing drugs. 32-year-old Michael Marks pleaded guilty Wednesday to dealing cocaine in Knox County Superior Court 1. Judge Tim Crowley sentenced Marks to 10 years in prison with 4 years suspended to supervised probation. A second count of dealing in cocaine was dismissed. Marks was arrested in November 2002 by the DEA and Vincennes police as a part of an undercover drug investigation. A plea agreement in the drug case of a Petersburg man. 28-year-old Joseph Davis pleaded guilty Wednesday in Knox County Superior Court 1 to a charge of theft for taking anhydrous ammonia from Royster Clark near Wheatland back in September of 2003. As a part of a plea agreement, a charge of possession of chemical precursors with intent to manufacture methamphetamine was dismissed. Davis received a 3-year sentence. 6 months of that will be served in jail, 1.5 years in work release, and 1 year on formal probation. A Vincennes woman will spend time in community corrections for possession of methamphetamine. 36-year-old Jessica DeJarnette was sentenced in Knox County Superior Court 1 Wednesday after pleading guilty to the meth charge. Judge Tim Crowley sentenced DeJarnette to 18 months in prison and then suspended the sentence to 12 months in the Wabash Valley Community Corrections Program and another 6 months on probation. DeJarnette was arrested at Autumn Ridge Apartments in December 2003 after Vincennes police found meth and ingredients used to make the drug in her apartment. Still to come on Newscenter 22, the latest on a dramatic hostage rescue in Iraq. And 1 person is dead and 11 others hurt in a fire on board of a cruise ship in the Caribbean. Stay with us.
The public is invited to attend Meet Your Legislators on Saturday, March 25th at 9 a.m. in Davis Hall on the Vincennes University campus. The forum will include information from area legislators, followed by a question and answer session. Viewers can phone in their questions the day of the show to 812-888-5334 or send your email questions to wvut@vinu.edu. Our live broadcast begins at 9 a.m. The show will be rebroadcast that same day on WVUT at 5 p.m.
U.S.-led coalition troops in Iraq have freed 3 Christian peace activists who'd been held hostage since their abduction last November. An American who was kidnapped with them, Tom Fox, was found murdered last month, presumably by the abductors. British Foreign Secretary Jack Straw says Briton Norman Kimber and Canadians James Loney and Harmit Singh Sudin were rescued in the military operation today. The 3 hostages are members of a Chicago-based aid group called Christian Peacemaker Teams. They had been shown in captive videotapes released by a previously unknown group that called itself the Swords of Righteousness Brigades. The number of Iraqis dead today from violence has soared past 4 dozen. Most of the dead were killed in explosions, including 35 who died in 2 car bombings in Baghdad. A bombing outside the Interior Ministry's major crime unit killed at least 25 people and wounded dozens more. President Bush is weighing in on the immigration debate. The president met with representatives of various groups that have a stake in the issue today to talk about the need for comprehensive immigration reform. He said the U.S. is a nation of immigrants, and he believes the U.S. immigration policy reflects our deep desire to be a compassionate and decent nation.
The immigration debate is a vital debate for our country. It's important that we have a serious debate, one that discusses the issues. But I urge members of Congress, and I urge people who like to comment on this issue, to make sure the rhetoric is in accord with our traditions. I look around the table and I recognize that we've got people from different backgrounds, different heritages. We all may have different family histories, but we all sit around this table as Americans.
Yesterday, the Center for Immigration Studies released the findings of a new report that examines the impact of immigration on the United States. The report finds that as immigration grows, American-born workers with less education are dropping out of the workforce. As the Senate braces for battle over immigration legislation, the issue is dividing Republicans and pitting some of them against the president yet again. Bill Schneider takes a look at the complexity of immigration reform.
Immigration reform sounds easy. President Bush has a plan. His party controls Congress. They pass the plan. Maybe not.
Immigration is a very difficult issue for a lot of members, as you know.
Republicans are keenly aware of public sentiment on immigration, which is running nearly 60% against President Bush's guest worker plan. Could be another populist uprising, just like on the Dubai ports deal. Members of Congress face enormous pressure from workers, Hispanics, citizen activists, business, farmers, labor, civil rights, and religious groups.
The Sensenbrenner bill adopted by the House is an evil bill. It criminalizes children, all of us, those who are immigrants and those who help immigrants.
That House bill calls for tougher enforcement.
And in the House, we have passed now an immigration bill that includes 700 miles of border fence.
But some Republicans, including the president, say enforcement is not enough.
The idea of having a program that causes people to get stuffed in the back of 18-wheelers to risk their lives to sneak into America to do work that some people won't do is just not American.
He's proposing a guest worker program with no promise of citizenship. But there's a bipartisan proposal that does.
That you have to work for 6 years, you get a green card, you pay a $2,000 fine, you have to know English, and you have to have a background check in case of criminal behavior.
Just don't call it amnesty.
That's very tough medicine. And anybody that calls that amnesty does not read the same dictionary that I do.
A Jamaican official says a cigarette is suspected as the cause of a fire on a cruise ship which left an American passenger dead and 11 others suffering from smoke inhalation. The Star Princess was carrying almost 2,700 guests to Jamaica when the fire broke out. Significant fire damage can be seen on one side of the ship. Celebrity Cruisers is making it clear it had nothing to do with the bus tour that ended in the deaths of 12 of its passengers yesterday in Chile, all of them Americans. The cruise line says they arranged the tour on their own, and Chilean officials say the bus wasn't registered and wasn't authorized to carry passengers. There's been a deadly ferry accident off the coast of the African country of Cameroon. Officials say a ferry carrying 150 passengers sank off the coast. Only 23 people were rescued, and the rest are believed to have died. The boat was headed for the Central African country of Gabon from a town in Nigeria. Daryl Littlejohn has pleaded not guilty to first and second-degree murder charges in the rape and killing of Ahmet St. Gian. The New York bar bouncer has consistently denied any involvement in the death of the grad student who was last seen at the bar where he worked. 10 years after she vanished, a 24-year-old woman is being reunited with her family. Tanya Cass says a middle school security guard used mind games to control her and keep her at his house since she vanished in 1996 when she was 14. The 48-year-old guard is jailed on sex charges. An FDA advisory panel says drugs for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder should not carry strong black box warnings about potential risks. Instead, the advisors say the labels should include warning language written so people can understand it. The FDA is not bound by the recommendation. Meanwhile, more adults across America are turning to drugs for attention deficit disorders. Medco Health Solutions found that drug use for ADHD jumped 19% last year for 20 to 44-year-olds. The numbers were up 2% for children and teens ages 10 to 19 and down 5% for kids under 10. Last month, the Food and Drug Administration said that ADHD drugs could cause heart problems in some patients. Walmart is recalling about 643,000 love seats and porch rocking chairs. There's a problem with the chair's runners that can cause instability, imbalance, fracturing of the wood, and tipping, posing a falling hazard. The retailing giant has received 45 reports of injuries arising from use of the 3 separate models. The news comes from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Consumers are urged to stop using them immediately and to return the 3 rockers to Walmart for full refunds. Still to come on News Center 22, Amy Reef has this evening's weather.
Austin City Limits celebrates 30 years featuring 2 singer-songwriters with distinctly different styles. Damian Rice.
It's not hard to fall. You float like a cannonball.
And an emotional journey from Patty Griffin.
Amy, the weather has been decent the past few days. Will that continue?
We can expect the calm weather to last for a few more days. Good evening, everyone. As we take a look out to the tower cam, we currently have partly cloudy skies and 43 degrees. Wind is out of the west-southwest at 9 miles per hour. Humidity is at 53% and the barometric pressure is at 30.26 and steady. Let's take a look at some area temperatures. Evansville, Indiana is at partly cloudy skies and 43 degrees. Washington, sunny at 44 degrees. Lagoti, Indiana is sunny with 42 degrees. And over in Illinois, Alny has sunny skies and 31 degrees. Now as we take a look at some national temperatures, it's heating up on both the east and the west coast. We currently have Boston, Massachusetts at 53 degrees. Los Angeles, California is at 72 degrees. Now quite a different story for Texas as they still have some much cooler temperatures. We have Amarillo, Texas at 30 degrees. Now for your nation's cold spot, we have Maysville, North Dakota at 25 degrees, and the hot spot is in Miami, Florida at 80 degrees. Now as we take a look at our surface map, you can see the northeast is going to be relatively calm as they're getting a break from the rain and the snow. They currently have sunny skies and fair conditions. As we move to the Midwest, not so much to talk about. Just a few light snow flurries making their way through the Twin Cities in the Chicago area. Other than that, the Midwest and the Northeast is going to remain relatively calm over the next couple of days. In the South, rain continues to push through Mississippi, and the Florida area has some severe thunderstorms producing large amounts of rain, wind, and hail, especially around the Miami area. As we take a look out west, snow continues to push into the west coast, settling around Seattle, leaving them with some of the white stuff. But as we go further south, it's going to remain relatively dry as the sun continues to shine and heat things up a bit. Now let's take a look at your forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of 42 degrees. And tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a low of 31. For a look at your extended forecast, Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 46, a low of 32. Sunday, also partly cloudy with a high of 51 and a low of 37. And on Monday, we can expect some showers with a high of 57 and a low of 42. And Kurt, that's a look at your weather.
Thanks, Amy. Still to come on Newscenter 22, the NCAA tournament resumes tonight, and the Indy 500 received its first entries for this year's race. Kristen Miller will have the details coming up in sports.
Huggins gets another chance. Good evening, everyone. For TV 22 Sports, I'm Kristen Miller. Former University of Cincinnati basketball coach Bub Huggins is back in the game. Kansas State has confirmed that Huggins will be the new head basketball coach at the school. Huggins was dismissed as head coach at Cincinnati last year after a drunken driving conviction and clashed with the school president. He takes over a team that was 15-13 this year. Huggins was given a $3 million buyout when he left UC last year. He had a .399 and .127 record with the Bearcats. Iowa basketball coach Steve Alford says he loves the Hawkeyes and has no immediate plans to interview for other coaching jobs. Alford issued a statement yesterday saying he had a record-setting season and looks forward to continued success with the Iowa program. Earlier this month, Alford was linked in media reports to the job at Indiana. The NCAA men's basketball tournament resumes play tonight with games in Atlanta and Oakland. In Atlanta, Duke faces LSU, while Texas goes against West Virginia. In Oakland, Game 1 has Memphis playing Bradley, while UCLA meets Gonzaga in the second half of the doubleheader. Some critics had questioned whether Bradley deserved a spot in the NCAA tournament. The Braves' response so far has been to win. And center Patrick O'Brien says he thinks they've proven a lot of people wrong. The 13th seeded Braves started league play 2-4 and finished the regular season in 6th place in the Missouri Valley Conference. However, they won 7 straight before falling to Southern Illinois in the conference title game and earned their first trip to the NCAAs since 1996. Either South Carolina or Cincinnati will be the final team to qualify for the semifinals of the NIT. The Gamecocks and Bearcats will square off this evening in Cincinnati, with the winner joining Old Dominion, Michigan, and Louisville. Jermaine O'Neal scored 16 points during his first game in 2 months to lead the Indiana Pacers in a 95-85 victory over the Chicago Bulls last night. O'Neal had missed 24 games with a torn left groin before last night. Chicago led 72-67 early in the fourth quarter before Steven Jackson scored 7 points during a 12-0 Indiana run that gave the Pacers 79-82 lead. The Miami Heat didn't just lose ground on the Pistons last night. They also lost one of their most valuable front court players in the process. Backup center Alonzo Mourning suffered a leg injury in the second quarter of the Heat's 82-73 loss to the Pistons. The Pistons dropped its magic number for clinching the home court advantage throughout the NBA's Eastern Conference. The number is now 6 games. The Dallas Mavericks look to sneak ahead of the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA's Southwest Division. The clubs are deadlocked for first place with 53 wins and 15 defeats, and tonight the Mavs are home to Golden State. An Indiana boxing regulator says a welterweight boxer who died following a bout in Evansville may have had a pre-existing brain injury. Kevin Payne of Evansville was pronounced dead on Sunday following surgery to relieve pressure on his brain. Payne's brain has been sent to a neuropathologist in Cincinnati to determine when he incurred any brain injuries. Testing will take 3 to 4 months. The 3-man commission reviewed a video recording of Payne's 8-round split division victory over Ryan Malado. The recording didn't show any devastating blows to Payne's head. 2004 Indianapolis 500 winner Buddy Rice will drive one of 6 cars entered today by Ray Hall Letterman Racing. Rice started from the pole and won the race in 2004, but he suffered a concussion and neck injury when he spun and hit the wall during the first week of practice last year. Ray Hall Letterman also entered 2 cars each for Danica Patrick and rookie Paul Dana. Alfonso Soriano blinked in his showdown with the Washington Nationals and played in left field in yesterday's exhibition game against the St. Louis Cardinals. The team had threatened to put the former second baseman on the disqualify list if he continued to refuse to play in left as he did for Monday's exhibition game. On the field, the Cardinals beat the Nationals 9-3. The New Orleans Saints and Indianapolis Colts will play an exhibition game in Jackson, Mississippi on August 26th. The game will be played at the 62,000-seat Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium. Colts quarterback Peyton Manning is a son of former University of Mississippi star and ex-Saint Archie Manning. Chicago Bears cornerback Jerry Azuma is retiring. The 7-year NFL veteran made 2 postseason appearances. He was selected for the Pro Bowl after a 2003 season in which he posted 90 tackles and recorded a team-leading 4 interceptions while starting in 13 games. Jim Florrick and Davis Love III remain the first-round clubhouse leaders at the Players' Championship in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. They each toured the course with a 7-under par 65. Robert Allenby is down 1 opening 66. Tiger Woods is 1 over par through 9 holes. And Kurt, that's a look at sports.
Thanks, Kristen. Still to come on Newscenter 22, an update on the ongoing battle between South Park and the Church of Scientology. Stay with us.
Expect a masterpiece.
It was love at first sight.
A match made in paradise.
Almost too good to be true.
She's not like your ordinary English girl. She's independent. She's spirited.
But can paradise survive in the real world?
How could she betray me with this man?
You don't trust me at all, do you?
From the novel by Anthony Trollope.
He's changed.
He knew he was right on Masterpiece Theater.
The creators of South Park have never seemed to be the kind to back away from a fight. So it's no surprise that the show's new episode Wednesday night took aim at the most recent controversy, pitting the show against one of its stars and his religion. Brooke Anderson takes a look.
Hi everybody! Chef's back!
It was titled The Return of Chef, the first new episode since R&B singer and Scientologist Isaac Hayes quit the show after voicing the character for nearly a decade.
That's right. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
But this chef wasn't quite the same. Hayes' voice appeared to be cobbled together from previous episodes.
You can hear how it was spliced together, and it was clearly disjointed.
TV Guide's Craig Tomashoff and I watched the show together.
Chef has been and still is a pedophile.
I'm gonna make love to the children.
In the episode, Chef had fallen under the influence of a club of pedophiles. In what appeared to be a swipe at Scientology, the club's tenets seemed intended to parallel those of the controversial religion.
This is their revenge, again, against everybody, against the church.
Last week, Hayes abruptly announced he wanted out of the show, complaining that South Park's frequent religious satires were going too far.
Great news, Stan. The Vatican is burning down.
But South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone told David Letterman Hayes never objected until they ridiculed Scientology.
We did a show last season about Scientology.
And Isaac Hayes is a Scientologist.
And we knew we're like, boy, you know, Isaac might quit over this, and sure enough, he did.
It wasn't exactly a fond farewell to Hayes. Despite the grisly death, the eulogy didn't place blame on Chef, or by extension Hayes, but rather his beliefs.
We shouldn't be mad at Chef for leaving us. We should be mad at that fruity little club for scrambling his brains.
In the end, Chef was resurrected as Darth Chef, leaving the possibility Chef could be part of future South Park episodes.
Hello there, children.
Brooke Anderson, CNN, Hollywood.
And that's all for this evening. For Amy Reef and Kristen Miller, I'm Kurt Maddox. Good night.